if you're seen in a particular light and if you're given a psychiatric diagnosis, people do go to Google and they read all these things, and they're scary and they're bleak. And I think that being able to see it in a different way. So understand that there's symptoms of dysregulation are related, let's say, to trauma. So we see lots of that, right? People will say, no one's ever talked to me. The psychiatrist doesn't. I had a client that I worked with for years who had a terrible trauma history. We did some neurofeedback. She did great. The doctor had prearranged an assessment with a psychiatrist for her. And so we had had a conversation about, what that might be like, what to expect. So after she had it, she sent me the report and she said, he spent 2 hours with me, generated this 15-page report with 3 different diagnoses. And in the report, which she sent to me, there were 3 lines about her childhood. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense to me. So luckily, we had had the conversation, and so she knew when she walked away with 3 different diagnoses, she had a context to put that in, right? There's this old expression that if all you have is a hammer, the whole world looks like a nail. I mean, there are people that's the way they see the world. And, some people want that or some people find that helpful. It's not, in my experience, and I've been doing this a long time, I don't think there's anything helpful about it. Often people with trauma histories, I think that's changing now because there's lots more trauma-informed therapists. There's certainly lots more in the media. I mean, a lot of the clients that come into me now have read the same books I've read on trauma. It's really kind of interesting. They know, they've done their research, they've done their homework, they're starting to have a sense of how to understand that. I think that's a big change. That didn't happen before. And that may be the internet. That may be one of the empowering things about the internet is that people don't just have to go to a doctor to get a diagnosis or to understand something. They go to Google and they've done the research, and that's really interesting. But I think there are a lot of people that feel crazy, and often it's a lot of physical symptoms. So people with chronic pain, are really misunderstood. We see lots of people with fibromyalgia, which is a really difficult diagnosis. Lots of diffuse symptoms. They feel like they're going crazy. So chronic pain, lots of people with sleep disorders.